Hi, third graders. I was just getting ready to start doing this lesson, and I thought to myself, okay, this is really silly because never in a million years did I ever think that I would be teaching a lesson from my bed. I'm sitting on my bed right now in my bedroom. Isn't that silly? I bet we're all feeling like there's a lot of things that we've been doing lately that are just totally not like what we're used to doing at all. And readers, I'm really proud of your resiliency. That means that you're trying your best, even though things may be kind of hard. Um, so, good job, third graders. So, boys and girls, this is our sixth lesson with Because of Winn Dixie. So, make sure that before you have started this one, that you've already listened to Miss Alvarado read chapters 10 through 12 of Because of Winn Dixie. And this lesson's going to be a kind of a little bit different. Um, for part of the lesson, I want to talk about making a movie in your head as you're reading or as you're listening to a story. And then the other part of our lesson I want to talk about is setting goals for ourselves as readers. Okay. Let's start with making a movie in our head. Now, I know that whether you're in my class or in Miss Alvarado's class or Mr. G's class, I'm sure that your teacher has talked a lot about kind of like making a movie in your head as you're listening to a story or as you're reading a story. That's what really good readers do, don't they? They picture things and they imagine things in their head, just like a movie, and that really helps us with our understanding, doesn't it? So, one of the reasons I love Because of Winn Dixie so much is because there's so many movies that I make in my head as I'm listening to this story or as I'm reading it myself. And so I'm wondering if when Miss Alvarado was reading the chapter about when Opal and when Dixie go into the pet store, I'm wondering, did you guys start making a mental picture in a movie in your head? Boy, I sure did. So when she was talking about how she walked into the pet store and Otis was standing there and he had his pointy cowboy boots on and he was playing his guitar, and all of the animals in the shop, all of these animals that normally like wouldn't probably get along with each other, were all out of their cages and they're all on the floor and they're listening and they're calm and they're not doing anything. Wasn't that amazing? Can you imagine walking into a pet store and seeing that happen? Oh my goodness. And then what happened when Otis stopped playing the music? Then they all started going crazy, right? All the animals started running around and slithering around and flying around the whole shop. And Otis and Opal tried running after and catching them and putting them back in their cages. And then what does Opal do? She says, "Wait, Otis, start playing the music again." And then this magical thing happened, and all the animals calmed down again, didn't they? And so Opal was able to quietly go pick them up, put them in their cages. Ugh, that was such a fun picture or movie to have going in my head. I was just imagining that. Oh, so neat. So, readers, I hope that as you're reading your books, that you are trying to make a movie in your head of what's happening in your story. Now, I know some of your stories have some pictures, and pictures are great. I love pictures. But even if it has pictures, you should still be imagining in your head. Because guess what? Sometimes what you're imagining in your head might be a little bit different than those pictures in the book, which is fine. Um, but especially for those books that don't have pictures, that is when good readers really try to make that movie happen in their heads so that they can really understand the story better and have just a really good understanding of it. Okay? And plus it makes reading so much more fun when you can make it into a movie in your head. Okay? So, hopefully, not only as you're listening to Miss Alvarado read the book, but also as you're reading your own books, I hope that you're really trying to make that mental picture. Okay? And remember also that we've talked about one kind of jot that you could be doing as you're reading your story could be that you're drawing a picture of what you see in your head. I know that sometimes as I'm reading, I'll stop and jot and I'll draw a little sketch of what I think is kind of happening in the story, and it helps me understand it a little bit better. Okay. So then the second big thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was about making um, goals as you're reading your story. Okay. And, you know, I was thinking about this, and sometimes I will just write a goal down on like a piece of paper or post-it note or something like that. But then I was thinking about something that I have been really enjoying doing, being home and kind of having more free time to do this kind of stuff. And that is that I really like to be creative, and I like to make things look kind of pretty. So as I was thinking about like, okay, I want to do a goal, or I want to make some goals, and I want my kids, you guys, to do some goals too. But then I thought, I kind of want it to look kind of pretty, so that when I see my list, I it makes me happy, and it makes me think, oh yeah, I forgot, I want to work on that today. So I have a challenge for you. And your challenge is I want you to create your own goal list, and I'll show you mine in a second. I want you to make your own goal list, and I want you to make it pretty or, cool, however you want to do it. But I want it to be something that you really enjoy looking at. And I hope that maybe you can find a spot in your house to hang it up, somewhere that you're going to see it. And that it will remind you that, oh, yeah, I got to work on this. Okay. So for me, I told you I'm in my bedroom right now. I'm going to hang mine up on my wall right next to my bed. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I can take a look at it and be like, oh, yeah, these are some of my goals that I want to work on today. Okay, so you ready to see mine? All right, so to make mine, here's what I did. Okay, I got a piece of paper, although mine's in my notebook right now, so I'm going to tear it out of my notebook in a second. And for mine, I'm using Post-it notes. Now, I have a big stack of Post-it notes that I can use. And I know not all of you have a big stack of Post-it notes that you can use, and that's fine. You don't need them, okay? So if you want to just make your goal list and have it something that you just write directly on the list, on the piece of paper, that's fine. Or if you want to maybe cut out little pieces of paper and then you could tape them on your goal list as you want to change your goals, because my plan is I want to change my goals. Maybe my goal will be these for this week, but then maybe next week I'm going to think about how I might want to change them. Okay? So, this is just an idea. You don't have to do it this way. I want to see your creativity here. Okay? Okay, so here's mine. So what I did was I tried to make it pretty. I did some fancy letters. So I wrote goal list. And then what I did was I put 4 Post-it notes on my paper. Okay? And so my idea is that I can take them off and then I can put them back on there, or I can put a new one on when I decide I want to change my goals. Okay? And so for me, I decided to focus on 2 reading goals this week. Okay? Now, I know that I've been asking my students to read 30 minutes, and probably if you're in Miss Alvarado or Mr. G's class, they've probably been asking you to read for about 30 minutes a day. But I was thinking to myself, I have a lot of free time. And I think that I would like to stretch my reading. So not just focus on 30 minutes, but I want to see if I can make it to 45 minutes each day. Okay? So that's my goal for this week, is I'm going to see if I can really work on my stamina, and if I can work for 45 minutes on my reading every day. Okay? So that's my goal. I may not always be successful in that, but I'm going to try my best. Okay? All right. And then the other reading goal that I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to jot at least 3 times while I'm reading. Okay? I know sometimes we get so into our books and then we kind of forget, but I'm really going to try to remind myself that I want to jot for at least 3 times. And so I'm reading, so I have a Kindle partly because I read so many books that it would cost me a lot of money, or I'd have to keep going back to the library. So here's my book that I'm reading. Okay, it's called It All Comes Back to You. And so since I have a Kindle, it's hard for me to like jot and put my post-its in my book. Can't really do that, can I? So I just have a notebook that I keep next to my bed because I usually read my books in my bed before I go to bed at night or before I go to sleep. So I just have my notebook and I can just write little jots, little ideas that I have. I can draw little pictures of what I'm imagining in my head. I can definitely, we've been focusing on our characters, so I'm trying to write down what I notice about my characters, and I try to focus in on what they're doing and saying, and making up a theory about who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. It's kind of like what we've been working on with Opal. Okay. Um, so I'm really going to focus on trying to do those at least 3 jots while I'm reading. Even more is better, but my goal this week is for 3 jots. Okay, so I want you to try to come up with a couple of goals having to do with your reading to really try to push you to do even better reading than you're already doing. Okay, and then the other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to do a couple of goals that don't have anything to do with my reading. And these are a couple goals that I have, and these are to help me to make sure that I'm feeling good and I'm feeling healthy and I'm not feeling super lonely, because sometimes it's lonely, um, being stuck in our houses all day, isn't it? So, one of my goals is that I'm going to call a friend or a family member every day and just talk on the phone and kind of be silly and have fun. So maybe you might want to set some personal goals like that. And then the other thing that I'm going to try to do every day, because it makes me feel so much better, is I'm going to try to exercise every day. So I wrote down kind of a list of some ideas on things that I like to do. Like today, I went for a run, and that felt really good. I can go for long walks. I have 2 doggies, so they love to go for walks with me. I went on a bike ride yesterday with my son. That was really fun. And then I also have been doing some of these yoga classes that are on the computer, which are kind of fun too. So you might think of like Go Noodle or some of the fun PE activities that Mr. Bloomer has been giving us. So think of some fun other goals that don't have to do with reading, but have to do with kind of making you happy and making you feel good. Um, During these times where we're kind of stuck at home and we don't have as many things to do outside of the house. Okay, so that was a lot, huh, boys and girls? So to recap, this is what we're going to be working on as we're reading our books. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're really trying to make that mental movie in our head as we're reading or as we're listening to stories, so that we're really, forming that movie in our head that makes it so much more fun to read. Okay. And then I'm going to challenge you. I want you to make your goal list. I want you to create something. I want you to try to make it interesting, whatever you like to draw, or however you can make it creative. I want you to do your best to do that. And then I want you to write some goals. I want you to think about what are some goals that I can work on to make my reading even stronger. How can I grow as a reader? Okay. And then also try to add some goals that have to do with just helping you be a happy person. Okay, whether it's exercise or talking with friends or playing a game with your mom and dad, something fun like that. Okay, and so your assignment this week is I'm going to have you. Hopefully, when you finish your goal list, I want you to take a picture of it with your computer, and I want you to share it with me so I can see all of your amazing creativity and see what you did. Okay, all right, boys and girls, great job. Keep up the good reading, and I can't wait to see your fun goal list that you're going to be creating. All right, bye guys.